It's truly a historic occasion. Let's hope that by the end of 90 minutes it becomes a storied one too. Hello on this very special Friday evening to the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 2 match of the round clash between the Phoenix club that is Minchinbury Jets and the ever-dangerous Blacktown St. Pat's. This is Blacktown Football Park, the single greatest footballing venue on planet Earth, where the impossible is frequently made possible, the unbelievable often made believable. My name is Mark DePoli. Tonight, alongside me, somebody making their match of the round commentary debut is the ever hilarious and increasingly familiar among match of the round audiences, Arslan Mangal. Welcome tonight, my friend. You should be out in midfield, but if it wasn't for the end of a red card that you received, you wouldn't be serving the suspension, but you're here with me, which I'm very, very grateful for. Thank you for being here. Thank you for co-hosting. Do you have any opening words for the match of the round audience?
Thank you very much, Mark. I believe this is grassroots football at its finest, where the tackles are hard, the passion is real, and every game matters. We've got a solid crowd, 22 players, one ball, and absolutely no idea how this will unfold.
No, we never, ever have an idea of how these games are going to go. But when St. Pat's are involved, we know that there are going to be goals. We just don't know how many. St. Pat's have had one of the toughest draws so far. As of today, you've got Minchinbury coming up, of course, but previously Oakville, who are scouting down below us, by the way, Rangers and Prospect as well. With the first 5 rounds of the season, with the way they've gone so far, Arslan, is it fair to say that this is panning out to be an amazing comp and there are no easy matches?
No easy matches at all, Mark. From the results so far, games I've played, it's apparent that every team has an abundance of quality and that anybody can win on their day. Whoever finishes their chances and keeps mistakes to a minimum will get the 3 points. Last place can beat first and everything in between.
Well, we've seen that happen in years gone by in the PL2. It has thrown up shocks. It has cursed undefeated seasons. It has done many, many things. Anyone can beat anyone, and it was what makes it so amazing. Now, your club, of course, are St. Pat's. If it hasn't been picked up on already, they're capable of playing some really, really good football at their best. And there's some new faces that we're about to be introduced to. So can you run us through a quick outline of who some of those new boys are?
Sure thing, Mark. Some of the new faces include Surafel Solomon, or Rafa, as he likes to be called, who is a skillful and strong box-to-box midfielder. Bailey Coleman is also a fresh face with a fresh fade. Young, talented guy who can play in a number of positions. On the bench is Jimmy Mifsud, who has the engine of a marathon runner and the positivity of a rainbow. Special mention to Luke Gonzalez, poor guy who somehow on the same ground broke a different leg against Prospect.
Ah, poor guy. Shout out to him. He's been a long-time match of the round servant, and also to St. Pat's as well. Now, we're going to dumb down the fun and the laughs for a little bit, because today is also a momentous occasion in the sense that there's someone to pay tribute to tonight. One of your teammates who has worn the number 9 jersey for a long time, been a match of the round goal scorer, but the focus should shift to matters away from football. Now, there is going to be a minute silence observed for the passing of the lovely mother of Suhail Koya. We wish the best of fortunes and send our peace to the Koya family. Just a quick word on the kind of person Suhail is, and I'm not sure how many interactions you would have had with his family, but always been a great guy, and that must say something to test to his family.
A top bloke, Mark. He's a top bloke. Suhail's a fantastic guy. On behalf of everyone at St. Pat's and Blacktown Football Association, our deepest condolences go out to Suhail Koya and his family during this incredibly difficult time. Your football family stands with you in grief and supports Suhail.
Yeah, fantastically well said. And when the time does come to pay our respects, we will observe the minute silence. The players will grace the halfway line and then extend themselves around the circle. And I'm sure you'll be okay, whether you're watching at home, around at the park today, or perhaps on some public transport, perhaps. You'll join us in that minute silence as well.
Don't forget our international viewers, Mark, because this is a multicultural community, a melting pot of different nationalities, and people are watching all over the world right now.
There are many Fijian Indians who I'm sure will be watching. There are many as well Sierra Leoneans who will be watching as well. I've heard that some Ethiopians might be tuning in too, and that's just from your side. And we know that Minchinbury Jets have placed themselves pretty firmly around Australia and abroad as well. Now, the two teams are sitting in the tunnel waiting to make their way out onto the pitch. So as they do that, and before we observe the minute silence, because after that we'll go straight into the game, I think we should go through the lineups of both of these two teams. Now, it is considered, once again, a Minchinbury Jets home game, so I will go through their lineup first. It's very similar in terms of the biggest players who retain their spots from the last time that they played in the match of the round up against Spurs. This time, though, they do have a brand new goalkeeper who's actually meant to be their first choice, and that is Nishad Wasim, who starts in goal. It's a back four of Andrew Nunez, of course, the part Peruvian, part Jamaican, and full-time flying fullback, who will start this time next to Eamon Helmy, and Jack Mansour keeps his spot in the number 5 jersey. Owen Kosapa, known best for his role on OTS in the social media stream, keeps his spot at left back as the 23-year-old. Speaking of 23-year-olds, it is Evan Kotsiopoulos who scored the first goal in their most recent win over Newbury in midfield next to John Paul George, who scored the only match of the round goal of his career when he played up against Spurs last time. It's a match of the round debut for the man wearing the number 88 jersey in Anthony Elbazi. He's also one of the 23-year-old contingent. Blake Jordan Curry has picked up 75 goal contributions in his last 4 Blacktown Premier League seasons across all grades and leagues, next to Logan Maybury, and of course the appropriately named singer himself, Jonathan Lennon, has come back.
Where is Yoko, Mark? Where is Yoko?
He's searching for her tonight, and it's going to be a question that I'm sure we'll see answered. Now, being very, very serious for a second, apparently a very, very good dribbler. Emmanuel Jumba is one of 3 boys with the first name Emmanuel in the defensive line for St. Pat's. It's his match of the round debut, next to former Oakville man Emmanuel Easton, the 15 jersey, who begins the back 4. Emmanuel Borge, they know him better as Emmy, begins with the 26 jersey, just 19 years old. And from a 19-year-old spring chicken to a 46-year-old Vikash Mishra, making his 5th match of the round appearance of his career. Now we're going to take a break because we're about to observe that minute silence. And if you've just joined us, thanks very much. We'll explain why if you have missed out on that information. But please observe it with us now. First team regular from St. Pat's, Suhail Koya, recently experienced the passing of his dear mother, and that is why we were observing that minute silence if you just joined us in the last couple of seconds. So thank you for participating in that. And as my friend and co-commentator Aslan Mangles suggested, lovely family, and our best wishes go out to the Koyas. We'll go back through the rest of the St. Pat's starting 11. Bailey Coleman, in his first year in St. Pat's colours, who's just come from Doonside 21s, by the way, wears the 33 jersey and rounds out the back 4. It's a midfield 3 that should feature you, my co-commentator, but instead it features Michael Soa and Solomon, who we've talked about as well. You guys call him Raf. Yasu Buta is making his 50th appearance in the last 5 years tonight, which is a very exciting thing for him. Tamba T-Boy Aliyu, featured on the podcast and wears number 10 here tonight, a 2-time match of the round goal scorer, 1-time assister. Sylvester Roberts has scored on the left-hand side of this pitch in a match of the round on 2 separate occasions. He's very esteemed, and welcome back to the starting 11 out of the technical area from last year. And finally, it's Jake Christopher in the 20 who rounds out the front line. Who is the biggest threat going forward for you St. Pat's boys?
I think it'd have to be Sylvester. Sly, or Sylvester, as you know him, or Sly as we know him, he's dangerous either foot. He's dangerous in front of goals, with his back to goal. He's dangerous upside down, Mark.
Is there an example where you could potentially tell us more about the upside down?
I don't think it's appropriate right now.
St. Pat's will be running from left to right across your screen. They've already got some pretty boisterous crowd members here. They're coming off the back of a 5-0 reserve grade win last night as well. as well. Minchinbury Jets will be running right to left across your screen. Both of these two teams will not be looking at the ladder just yet. They both admitted it on the podcast in midweek. It's far too early to be doing that. Lots of love for Tamba T-Boy Aliu. There's some Marion fans saying that he'll get a hat-trick tonight. It would be the first in his time in St. Pat's colours if he were to pick that up. There's some pretty powerful players off the bench. There are some flying wingers on both of these two teams. This will be a game that I think is won in the wide areas. Do you know anything about Minchinbury Jets from years gone by, perhaps when they were in different colours?
I do. I don't think their team was as strong as they are tonight. I think in previous years they had some gaps in their team, some weaknesses that they've sort of rectified. I think this year they've shown that they can, match it with the best of us, or the best of them, I should say. So I think tonight's going to be a fantastic game.
One of the things that we've had a bit of an issue with St. Pat's in the past is the inability to sort of beat the very, very highest teams and break into that sort of top 2 or top 3. That's been a trend for about a couple of years. But there are so many good teams this year, but perhaps the overall quality of those teams was not as great as some of those promoted teams in years gone by. So I think St. Pat's, if they've retained or gotten better from what the squad was last year, have a really good chance of doing something special this year. It's just about, will the shift in momentum perhaps from those weeks that they've had off and the fact that you have played the least amount of games in the league so far out of any of the teams, will that come to bite them and their match sharpness and fitness? Well, if Michael So is to say anything about that, it won't be true. Let's see how St. Pat's and Minchinbury Jets get off to on this historic occasion, a first Friday night clash. My friend Arslan, I know you're suspended at the moment, but are you excited to watch from this perspective?
It's a fantastic view, Mark. I can see all the gaps, all the mistakes, and all the positivity as well.
You're basically like a VO from standing up here. That's the kind of angle and height you get. I believe that to be Jake Christopher dropping all the way in.
Yep.
A one-time Goal of the Week winner, by the way, back in his day when he was a Minchinbury Jet. It was the first touch of the game for John Lennon there before Owen Kossipa got involved from left back. Now he darts forward. This is the first match of the round involvement here for their number 88 in El Bazi. But he's lost out. And Iyasu has got back. And then it's won back well by Minchinbury before, of course, Tamba T-Boy Aliu gets in and shifts it out wide. Picked up here by Sly, as you guys know him as Sylvester Roberts, perhaps, to the rest of the competition. Options either side, and a little deflection is actually going to be kind here to the current oldest player in the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League, who wins a corner. Decent start.
First corner of the game, Mark.
You guys practice them very much.
I don't think we're the best team in the air, I'll be honest with you, but there are a few danger players out there. So if they can get onto the ball from the corner, I think something might happen.
Who's tended to be the bravest when it comes to getting on the end of a sky-high ball?
Mate, it has to be yours truly.
Well, usually you'd be the one delivering them in as well.
I try and not get too much CTE these days, but some of these balls are pumped up a bit hard. Sunday morning, they've got a bit of a headache sometimes,
Another football hangover, nothing better than it. Ball to be delivered in by Jake Christopher, who was the top assist provider last year. And it's been cleared away, I think, finally. Last touch, I do believe, came off Solomon, in fact. Interesting to see a centralised midfielder wearing the number 7 jersey.
Well, in years gone by, and this year as well, Sahel's been wearing the number 9, and he's a centre-back.
That is true. I know that he's away from football for different perspectives, but how important, significant is his admission from the team tonight, Sahel Koya?
Sahel is a warrior, on and off the field, and he's a very integral part of the team.
Just so capable through the entire spine, it seems, Sahel Koya, whether he's playing up top or at the heart of the defence. Been very impressed with him in years gone by. And it was just a shame to not have him involved tonight. St. Pat's with the early ascendancy in terms of the momentum. It seems Jake Christopher got his match of the, his goal of the week. Winner from that perspective, that spot right there, although he couldn't quite get the shot off. Former Oakville man Emmanuel Issa goes all the way back to Emmanuel Jumba in goal. This comes here to Bailey Coleman. Tries to penetrate through to find his attacking line. There was a bit of a miss inside of the foot touch by Buta.
I think if Vic was 10 years younger, he would have got there.
Well, he was a rugby league player by trade before he came to Blacktown and wanted to start a Premier League team. Coleman stepping in.
Come back.
Just the 25-odd years between the right back and the right-sided centre-back. Isn't that a stat?
I think Vic's got armpit hairs that are older than Bailey.
Yasu Buta with Owen Kossipa to beat, but the turf has ended up being the victor between the two. Kossipa able to retain possession, just goes back behind the halfway line. John Paul George started as a left wing in the last match of the round where he scored the only goal for Minchinbury in that game. Today he's preferred through the base of the midfield, but that's because Nicholas Kamboris was sent off last week. It's a day where both teams have actually had their starting 11s defined by previous suspensions. I mean, you're one of the crop, of course, which I'll try and stop mentioning at some point, but there's also been some players on this Minchinbury team as well who have been suffering.
Just rubbing salt in the wound there, Mark. Just rubbing salt in the wound.
Just keeping you honest. But it is St. Pat's with the early momentum in this one, and while 4 minutes might not be a great indication of how the other 86 will go, I've been impressed with the start so far. Issa tries to go very direct and over the top, and in the end it was won quite simply. Picked up here by El Bazzi, who I've been told is a very hearty and hard-working 10. Kotsiopoulos, who scored the first goal last week against Newbury, comes here to Jonathan Lennon. You heard that right.
Great turn.
El Bazzi, I've been told to expect a lot from the 23-year-old number 10. Ball delivered in. John Paul George wants another match of the round goal saved. Jamba, that's his first match of the round contribution, and what a contribution to have.
That was a fantastic save. I thought it was in for a second there.
Well, St. Pat's, despite the early momentum going in their favour, the best chance of the game by far has gone to their opposition, and Minchinbury Jets have just shown exactly what they're capable of doing if you give them a bit of space.
Just goes to show what can happen in about 10 seconds.
You know, I often find, and this is only something I discovered once I started playing with highlights of football matches, that when you skip forward 10 seconds just to get through a clip quite fast, so much can change in a matter of moments, and you don't realise sometimes you can go from the goalkeeper having the ball to the goal being penetrated down the other side of the pitch. It's amazing how quick things can happen in this wonderful, wonderful sport that we call the world's game. More of the crop of supporters here to come out and watch both of these two teams. A Friday night game, a historic occasion, people coming from work. As I believe that to be Andrew Nunez of Minchinbury, who got that throw in a bit misdirected. In the end, St. Pat's will get the ball back down that far side. I think that's Emmanuel Borges who will throw it in. What a save it was by Jamba.
Unbelievable. I think Jamba's a very important part of the team and a fantastic keeper. Sly's got the ball.
Chance here for Sylvester Roberts from distance, and it was always angling wide. The goalkeeper's reaction kind of gave you an indication that he was pretty confident of its waywardness.
He needed a bit of curve on that ball there. If he put a bit of curve on it, I think it might have gone in, Mark.
Tell me, and if you're happy to reveal to the comp, when Sylvester Roberts officially became a coach last year, or a co-coach, alongside Mario Gonzalez, what was his role in training? Would he still kick the ball, or was he...
He doesn't let go of the ball, Mark. He loves to play. I think the passion was there. He can't keep away from the field.
Well, it's great to have him back. He's only 27 years old. He's still, I would suggest, in a really, really good time of his life to play. I'm glad that we have him back. A match of the round goal scorer, always hard to say goodbye to them. John Paul George competing there with Solomon. And now a chance as Blake Curry comes forward, and a chance for Logan Mabry on the turn, spinning. Wanted his first match of the round goal. Last time against Spurs, didn't get it.
Desperate clearance there from Emmanuel. Bit of a spot of trouble there. Borg tried to take on his player.
Not the first time I've seen that side of the defence open up. Great turn there by Logan Mabry, who we know... Ooh, that's a shonky clearance by Emmanuel Issa. Let's see what Jamba's footwork is like. Well, that's pretty confident work.
Crowd's getting riled up.
Won't take you long to either my on-debut co-commentator. A couple of big tackles will come in and you'll forget that you're meant to be live streaming. Trust me, it's happened to me plenty of times. A couple of big 50-50s coming in here, but 20-year-old referee Kiana Woods, the first to have the decisive moment there.
This could be dangerous.
Yeah, it really could be. We'll see who stands over it for the Minchinbury Jets. Call it 30-odd yards from goal. I think it is Kotsiopoulos, the man who has really ignited the entire Minchinbury Jets push, got all of his schoolmates to come and play here, told us in midweek that there was a bit of a mentality shift among the boys, that they were going to really try and push and be a promotion or at least a grand final team Ball delivered in. Nice looking ball cleared away, I believe, by Michael Sowa. Kossipa. Buta read that really, really well. Kossipa was a little bit fortuitous there. And now Sowa advances the play forward. There's Jake Christopher, who was a regular in reserve grade for a long time before he's been able to establish himself as a first grader. Mishra.
They need to spread this play now.
Lots of experience shown there. Yasu Buta trying to combine with his striker, who's currently holding a position on the right wing. I like the angle of that ball. Might just be a little bit overhit. In the end, they're going to be able to recycle it. It comes here towards Michael Sowa, left-footed strike, weak-footed strike, and you saw it. Didn't quite come off the way he would have wanted it. Wanted it on that other peg, I'm sure. Good retaining of possession there by Solomon, but in the end, misread by Borsch. Frustration for you.
Unlucky touch there. Could have kept the pressure on for a little bit longer, but unbelievable ball by Jay Christopher there.
Well, he was the top assist provider last year, and he told me when I was interviewing him prior to the reserve grade grand final that he was very adept and really was encouraged by the fact that he was allowed to drop into space and create, despite the fact that he's meant to be a number 9.
From what I know about Jake, that was a shot, not a cross. He loves to shoot, that guy.
Oh, Jake.
That's his job. That's his job as a striker.
Need to keep their communication very, very firm here. Borsch currently beaten to it by Blake Curry, identifiable by those green boots, long legs, and goal-scoring antics. Emmanuel Issa, whose old club is watching him down below on the halfway line. I'm sure he might be able to catch the in frame at some point tonight. One Sierra Leonean to another as T-Boy.
Nice tight play here.
Sylvester Roberts on the halfway line, living a little bit dangerously.
He won the ball back there.
Solomon.
Won the ball back.
Jake Christopher's running across the defensive line. Mishra goes out wide.
Good challenge.
On by Kossipa there at left back for Minchinbury Jets. Frustration for Evan Kotsiopoulos, who I might remind you, his slightly older brother is the coach of this team, so I can imagine there's a lot of communication and respect there between the two. But he's trying to command the team a little bit, and he looked a little bit frustrated when he was giving instructions just then. That ball has stayed in. Kossipa, who is an AFL coach by trade as well, puts a little bit of a shoulder into Yasu Buta there.
Nothing wrong with a good shoulder.
Vikash Mishra can deliver a long throw. An example of that there to Sowa. Bouncing there with his longtime mate, Tamba Aliu. Picked up here, just inside the opposition half for some pats by Manuel Issa. T-Boy, good use of the body to roll there. Mishra has all the experience in the world. What about the delivery towards the back stick? And it should be cleared now finally by Minchinbury. Jake Christopher's there threatening. This is Solomon. Simple pass. Roberts trying to keep the danger alight here for Blacktown. Some pats. Been a while since they played a football match, but they're looking really good.
They need to get a shot off here.
Enters the box to the far side. Comes back here to Michael Sowa. Should have gone down there perhaps, but he's too big and too strong. Great ball into the box. And while Buta missed it, the offside flag rescues Minchinbury Jets.
There's a good sequence of play there.
There, you've got to be happy with that.
I wish they got a shot off though.
Not the only Friday night football match right now where the stakes are high in the A-League. Adelaide United have taken the lead over Western United in what is a knockout match between those two. Huge, huge moment in that match. We'll keep an eye on it, but keep your focus here. That's gone over Surafel Solomon's head. Picked up here by Issa, who did the pirouette perfectly well. Back here to Solomon. Advances it forward to his number 10 in the number 10 position. Good turn here by Jake Christopher. Jake Christopher! Always looked a little bit too high, but you're liking what you're seeing so far.
Heart rate rising. My doctor said to keep it calm, but that was not bad. The boys have to keep the pressure on now. That's the main thing right now. The pressure's on. They can swing the other way very quickly.
one thing I've not tried to rub too much salt into the wound of is the fact that the first game of the season for you guys up against Town Rangers, who are currently top of the table, of course, was a 94th minute loss, 1-0 at home as well, at Bert Saunders. So we know what you guys can do when the pressure is on, but if you take your foot off the gas, things like that can happen. What were the emotions like after that one?
You forgot to mention they were a man down as well.
They were too. Which really shouldn't be happening.
Definitely not. It was very, very frustrating. But that just shows you what can happen in football if you don't pay attention.
Christopher with the press. In the end, Blake Curry will be able to rescue Minchinbury, at least for the time being. Right on the halfway line, looks for Nunez. Didn't quite happen. Now the right back for Minchinbury's out of position. And here comes Borgie down the left-hand side. Cross delivered in. Tamba T-Boy Aliu, great touch, lane change. Iniesta-esque, and then shot off. Saved. Saved in the end by Wasim. Minchinbury Jets currently in survival mode right now. Jonathan Lennon. That ball beat him before it came to the sideline. St. Pat's with the ball back in play straight away. Absolutely no time for dilly-dallying at all. Snuffed out well there, though, by 23-year-old John Lennon. Logan Mabry ball delivered in behind. Lovely weight on that pass. Blake Curry no mourn for his attacks on goal rather than delivering. What about the delivery now? Good save by Jamba. Twice he's been called into action significantly, and twice he's had big impacts. From James Akinor last year to Emmanuel Jamba now. Had two pretty steady keepers, but the hands have been especially good from Jamba so far.
He is a revelation. We were waiting for him at the airport to pick him up as soon as he came in. It helps that he doesn't speak much English as well.
Yasu Buta. Rafael Solomon, forgive me for interrupting you. This is Tamba Aliu, who's occupying a wide space now, enters the box, cross across the face. When is it going to come for St. Pat's? Well, Sylvester Roberts is their only goal scorer of the year for their opening 3 games. He's scored 2 and the other one has been an own goal. They want to find their second ever goal scorer of the 2025 season. I'm sure tonight here in the match of the round. Last time St. Pat's featured on the match of the round, of course, was in last year's Reserve Grade PL2 Grand Final, where they went out, conceding the victory to Oakville, of course, which you've waxed lyrical about previously. But right now in possession, it's all St. Pat's who are playing a brand of football I'm very, very impressed with.
Patient build-up play at the moment. Just whether they can convert their chances now and plug the leaks in the back.
But that's not something that was, I'm sure, out of the playbook by Emmanuel Issa.
There's that L1 triangle move right there.
That's a good one. That's gone very high in the sky by Wasim, and Emmanuel Issa struck a left peg at it. And it actually worked out quite well before Rafael Solomon was beaten to it. Mabry turning provider again. Blake Curry with a chance to get through 1, 2, 3. That's how he won a red card against Spurs a couple of weeks ago, but that time he didn't win anything. Could be a foul coming in here on Christopher. Really, really well done. And now they're trying to penetrate through this last line here. Kospa, crucial touch. And then he got past his man really well. Great defending and dribbling. Although, right on cue, Buta threatening. Kospa living dangerously. Back here to Jack Mansour. Finds here his number 10.
Kospa was a one-man army there.
He was. Needs to win this. Coleman, Issa, even more important than he does, which he does under control. Mishra into his 10th year at the club as a Sampata, which is a fantastic achievement for the long-time servant of this great club. Progressed well by Rafael Solomon. I've been really impressed with him. A chance to dart forward again. I think that's Sylvester Roberts right in the middle of the pitch, but just couldn't get the final pass off. A bit frustrated with his on-runners that they weren't quite exactly where he wanted them to be to play that final ball. Don't want to annoy the former co-coach. Kotsiopoulos into the heart of the midfield, losing that battle there. Borges up the line, past the halfway line in the process as well. Running straight at defenders, Tamba T-Boy Aliu, Jake Christopher, square pass here. Rafael Solomon from distance! slapped away and then cleared away proper out for a throw. St. Pat's really loving life so far, but they've got to take a chance.
That was a great save by Wasim. I got to say, St. Pat's attack has been sharper than a Sunday sermon, but will they convert their chances?
Oh, you're full of good jokes here tonight. Did you prepare any?
I'd be lying to say if I didn't.
The notes app comes in handy. And now a chance for St. Pat's to deliver a long throw. Will they be Thomas Partey-esque against PSG? Hopefully not. Any Arsenal fans would want. Speaking of them, here is Tamba T-Boy Aliu.
I think the neutrals are looking for an Inter-Barca game here.
Certainly not the last maybe 30 minutes of that PSG Arsenal game, which was lacking in a fair amount of quality. At least the heartiness of that 4-3 would be great. Arguably the best game I've ever watched, to be honest with you.
The best tie, I think. I've
Yeah.
ever seen over 2 legs.
I would agree
Definitely.
with you. 13 goals across 180 minutes. Ball delivered in by Jake Christopher. Got great whip on it, and it's been cleared away, I think, by Mansour, who's always going to put his head into the line of fire. Very, very brave defender. Played short by Vikash Mishra. Look at the space and time for Yasu Buta. Got the ball a little bit under hit here on the edge of the box to Jake Christopher. Cleared away by Kossipa, I do believe. But St. Pat's have got this game right now in the palm of their hands, but will they take their chances?
Minchinbury's holding on. They're holding on for dear life at the moment.
Just 20 minutes into this one, how long could this high press, high tenacity play by St. Pat's last, considering that they've barely played in the last month and a bit of this competition? Poor by Jonathan Lennon. Now in behind, Vikash Mishra. Past Kossipa. Overhit ball. Tamba T-Boy Aliu against Andrew Nunez. A St. Pat Jr. who returned to the club to join the Premier League system.
The ref's whistle has been quieter than a library at the moment.
Hasn't had to be called into action all too much. It's been a very, very fairly contested game. Throw in it will be. Only really that free kick down this left-hand side that Minchinbury didn't really use to the best of their abilities has been the time that the referee's been called into action. Quiet game for Kiana Woods. Thrown in. I wonder if that was a legal throw, but they might just have a corner from this. They will have a corner from this. Minchinbury had every chance to keep that in. Calls from the reserve grade team down below to our left to get some heart into this one, and I can't say that they're too far wrong. A reminder as well, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, hearing, and of course viewing on the live stream, don't forget to leave us a live chat and press like as well while you're there to let us know that you're enjoying all of those three things in tandem.
I believe they're shouting at Jake Christopher there.
Chance to be delivered in towards the front post! That had to be the first goal. It's an unbelievable miss.
It was easier to score than miss there.
Wow, Bailey Coleman. Unfortunately, it falls to the 21-year-old centre-back. And the former Spartans man has plenty of experience on this pitch, but he didn't show it all there. Have a look at this upon replay. Oh, my word. He's less than 2 yards out. And hands on heads collectively, you and me included.
Sly's going to be having running laps at training.
He'll probably be okay with it, all things considered.
He's 21. He should have the energy to do so.
Well won by Surafel Solomon. I've been very, very impressed.
He oozes calm.
Ball delivered in. Great ball across the face of goal, and Kossipa was forced to clear. St. Pat's are making some unbelievably good chances, but they're just not finding the man on the end to put it into the back of the net. Again, they're going to try and play quick. Do not take your eyes off this for a second. Ball delivered across again. Crosses. What about a shot? Cleared away again by Jets. That's definite pull on the arm there. Referee's whistle is going to get used, and that might just raise the tempers a little bit here. Now, if this was a free kick that you were on the pitch for, you'd be taking this one.
I would be taking this one. The backspin coming in is very hard to defend against with a header.
It is, I would say, among your other footballing abilities, but for me personally, watching you deliver a set piece in the years gone by is a thing to really behold. The way you're able to lift it and get that back spin is something that has caused defenders heaps of trouble.
That's my leg press ability, Mark.
What are you hitting at the moment?
6, 7 plates each side
Wow.
as a casual.
That's my...
That's before training, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, that's my lateral raise warm-up. So, Jake Christopher, pot shot at goal. Comes off the back there of John Paul George. And out wide that goes for another corner. We've already hit 5, and 4 of them have been down that end. So forgive me, 3 of them have been down that end. 25 minutes into this game, not even a third of the way through it. And despite the fact of the game that the best chance of it probably came to Minchinbury Jets, I'd say that St. Pat's Bailey Coleman a couple of moments ago had an even better one. Are we finally going to get one that ends up in the back of the net? Ball delivered in, a different free kick taker, I should say. Really good claim that is by Minchinbury Jets' actual first choice goalkeeper.
What do you think Minchinbury have to do different?
I don't think their midfield is competing in this game at all. They're second to every ball at the moment, and Jake Christopher is able to do things like that. My word, our angle of that. For all money's worth, it looked like it was going in. Yeah, their midfield is not getting on the ball enough. I think the attack is this front 3.
Is that another corner?
Yep, I think it's going to be. I'm not sure who took a touch off.
Phantom touch syndrome. I'd have to agree with you with Minchinbury there. I think their midfield needs to lift. Their backline's doing all the work at the moment.
I'm worried that this Minchinbury Jets midfield might actually just be a little bit scared of the occasion. There's some big bodies out there, and that's St. Pat's midfield. Ball delivered in towards the back post. Good ball, slapped away. Free kick called straight away. Good refereeing. Those young boys out there in that midfield, I mean, if I had to be specific, Evan Kotsiopoulos is just 23. John Paul George is the most senior one, but El Badzi as well in the 88 jersey, although he has pushed into a further forward position. These are the kind of boys that need to get on the ball and assert themselves a little bit against a very dominant midfield performance so far by St. Pat's. Again, Yasu Buta, great press. How long will St. Pat's be able to keep this up for? Shot from distance. No, not the right choice there. Not the right choice at all.
A little bit of frustration they're showing from the St. Pat's midfielder.
Well, Surfel Solomon has been a joy to watch so far, and while that wasn't his finest moment, we'll forgive him for it because he's given us a couple of really great and intricate passes. Although he has been allowed the space to do it.
In my opinion, I think they need to get Sylvester on the ball more. I think he'll be a game changer.
What's the key with Sylvester? What is it that separates him?
His football IQ. I think the biggest thing about him is his football IQ. It's not about his pace, not about his skill. He can do everything and a little bit more, but the football IQ stands out about it, above everything else.
Look at this, Blake Curry, who is a right winger, not politically, by the way, on the pitch, I do mean, is having a drop in to receive. Chance for Iasu, who was then just nutmegged. Forgive me for interrupting you, but there's Jack Mansour coming wide to clear that on his weaker left. Vikash Mishra. No, wrong choice there. Kotsiopoulos gets on the ball. This is what this midfield needs to do. Idea was right, but the execution was wrong. Forward they come through Borges. Missing Martinago out there as well tonight, serving a 1-game suspension. Definitely a foul on there, but we've decided to play advantage. Sylvester Roberts now, just outside the 18-yard box, darting around it. Plays it here to Michael Sola, a 2-time All-Star representative. Oh, Sylvester Roberts was there, tried to get the shot off. Down he goes in a heap. Turning is the number 88, El Badzi. And picked up again by Emmanuel Issa of St. Pat's. El Badzi has a second bite of the cherry. Throw in it'll be. This is a frantic game.
How long can Minchinbury hold it out? Or how many chances can St. Pat's keep squandering?
The question I have for you is how long can you guys maintain this high press? Are you fit enough to do this for the next 60-odd minutes?
We have not played, it feels like 3 months. But I think that missing the game is an important part of wanting to play again.
I love that take that you've just had. From distance! Well, the frustrations are brewing, and it's forcing the midfielders to want to take more of a stamp authority on this game. And that's why both Solomon and Soa, the double S in midfield, have taken pot shots from distance when they probably had better options, which is probably a sign of frustration.
I'd have to agree with you. I think part of the process is a slow build-up, which they did really well in the first 10-15.
Again, pressing high.
T-Boy with a bit of a love tap there.
Blake Curry dropped in. It was 1 goal off a golden boot victory in PL1, so you'd imagine he's adept to playing PL2. Coleman, who had the best chance of the game.
Good switch.
Lovely switch. Square pass. And they made some yardage here. In NFL terms, that's really well done. Solomon, lovely progressive pass. Out wide, this goes to Iyasu Buta.
Wrong decision from Yasu.
Isn't known necessarily Iyasu Buta for his extremely high goal-scoring return. He's got 3 goals from his last 49 games on in game number 50 in the last 5 years.
He's got 8 yellow cards, though.
Does have 8 yellow cards. So that means he gets, 2.2 yellow cards for every goal.
Put the calculator away, Mike.
Got a cup prepared. Wasim slows it down. This is probably the slowest taken goal kick that they've had so far. As Minchinbury look for any kind of way back into this, Logan Mabry's flicked one on there, and in the process of grabbing his head and having it knocked, he's actually won a free kick here. Because of the protocols that we have, player's going to stop straight away. And now, well, we saw what Minchinbury Jets did a couple of, I'd say probably 15 minutes ago when they had a chance, despite the fact that they were getting pushed back. What about this free kick? Just inside St. Pat's defensive half. It's Koxiopoulos, who idolises Michael Carrick, hence the number 16 on his back, but a bit of a nothing ball.
Jets only had 2 players up there against 6. They need to get their confidence up.
That's a monster throw by Blake
Wow.
Curry. He's going to come back to the throw-in. Take it himself. 2 boots raised in the box is always a scary thing if you're defending. Square pass, beats the referee. Now finds Michael Soa. Lovely pass in behind.
Bad touch there.
My word, if there had been a better touch off there, you're looking at one of the greatest assists to goals of all time. That was a really, really lovely, incisive pass.
Ball's gone out to the Macca's car park.
Might be a while before we get that one back. Minchinbury is considered the home team, though, so it is their ball. This is the 1/3 mark of the game that has now been crossed into the 32nd minute, almost now, in fact. It has most certainly, absolutely, positively been that of St. Pat's that have dominated. Lovely interplay and at least fury by Blake Curry and co. But then he gave away the free kick in complete and utter frustration. Turns 24 next week, does Blake Curry.
They've got a young team, Jets.
A lot of these boys came through the same grade together at school. They've been kicking balls together at recess and lunch for as long as they can remember. Now bringing it into the PL2. And they want to see what they can build over the next couple of years as they enter their prime athletic years. Borgi, the left footer, to deliver it in a little bit flat. There could be a big collision coming in here. I wouldn't go up against Michael Soa either. Yasu Buta, nicknamed Yas, as you probably just heard just then. Emmanuel Issa dancing on the halfway line. Finds Soa, poor touch, then got it under control. Beats Mabry with ease. Then beats Kotsiopoulos with consummate ease too.
Silky smooth Michael Soa is.
He's been a player, I think, for a long time that PL1 clubs would have looked at and said, why can't we get you across? But he stayed loyal to this project for a long, long time. Stunning football player. Poor pass there by Bailey Coleman. And now delivered in behind, but a bit of a nothing ball, a hit and hope. Although when you do have Blake Curry on your team, you can hit and hope for the best and usually expect something good out of it. This is better by Minchinbury. And St. Pat's now forced to drop in. Jonathan Lennon. Nicely done there by El Bazzi, who then hits the deck really, really hard. Wins a free kick.
Ref tried to play advantage, but nothing happened.
Calls for the captain's challenge by the St. Pat's faithful, who, might I remind, picked up a 5-0 win over Minchinbury Jets last night. A couple of players played in that game that are here tonight as well. Most of them coming off the bench, but Emmanuel Jumba was one of them.
So was Emmanuel Issa and Jake Christopher.
Yes, they were. Almost the entire bench made up of last night's reserve graders, though. Backing up here tonight. Kotsiopoulos, this is a better angle for a right footer. That's a good-looking ball. I think it was headed towards his own goal there. Jumba dancing with danger here. Oh, cutting back expertly. Isn't this great to watch? Although he's out of his box now, Kotsiopoulos. I think Nunez was offside. The right back almost playing like a left winger here. John Paul George. Kotsiopoulos turns. Lovely there by Nunez. Formerly, of course, Sydney Olympic and Dulwich Hill in his younger days. Now St. Pat's, as we're becoming accustomed to, is back on the ball. Sent out wide.
Good switch.
By Suafel Solomon. Expertly said by you. Yasu Buta trying to beat Kossipa. Not for the first time today. Has this been a great battle to watch? Kossipa wins the first one here, though. There might be a second stab at it here for Yasu Buta. Good quick feet. Pass one, pass two. Not past Kotsiopoulos. And then Soa stepped in. Big, strong Arjibaji.
Got a solid shoulder press as well. Soa does.
That is absolutely not a surprise. Isa. Here too, St. Pat's evergreen number 4. Fortuitous, but it works well for Yasu. Temba Aliyu has been a little bit quiet in the last 10 minutes or so. We want to see more of him. Kossipa now then finds Jonathan Lennon. Lennon goes back to Kossipa. Ooh, very fortuitous pass there. Lucky that it wasn't worse. Jake Christopher was forced to turn and twist and slow the momentum down for St. Pat's. Now, Sylvester Roberts, that's lazy by him, although they're going to be able to keep it because it was misread by Mansour, who's out of position right now as Kossipa goes central. Jake Christopher is there. On the ball right now, Sylvester Roberts got his pass wrong. 35 minutes have just tricked on by. Only 10 to go, inside 10 to go until half-time. At what point are St. Pat's going to find their goal?
At this stage, it's looking like a frustrating night for St. Pat's.
Something that we've said in years gone by is that you guys can fall victim to a sort of in-house complacency in games. Thinking perhaps maybe the chance would just come naturally. How different could this game be if that attempt by Minchinbury earlier in the game had gone in and then Coleman had a chance to respond with his miss inside 2 yards as well? What a different game this could be. There's an issue here with the bench, it seems. There might be a player who's got a bit of blood on the knee. I'm wondering if that's what it is. Or some jewellery, perhaps. Either way, St. Pat's right now are down their central centre-back. No one's really dropped in to accommodate that hole right now.
I think his shin pad fell out.
Yep. Emmanuel Issa now back into the action as quick as he possibly can. Nicely done there by El Bazi. He's actually coming off the back of a couple of years ago, a torn ACL. He's the number 88. It's good to have him playing in our Blacktown Premier League. He's been impressive when he's been on the ball. Soa, a rare instance where he gets a pass wrong.
It seems as though the momentum has shifted.
Minchinbury Jets are definitely finding their way back into this, and a goal as we approach half-time would be so cool considering St. Pat's performance so far. But when you can't score, you can't say you deserve to lead.
Another fantastic throw.
It's proving really dangerous by Blake Curry, not just known for his goal scoring after these throws, it seems.
Was it Sunderland or Southampton who had a similar throw? And they came up to the
Stoke.
Premier League. Stoke. I knew it was a red and white team.
Good old Rory Delap back in the day.
He needs to kick far when he can throw far.
And that was exactly his point. Apparently they found that out in accident on training. They were just like, hey, look at how far Rory can throw the ball. I wonder if the same thing happened to Blake. Anyway, in-swinger to be delivered in. Great ball cleared away at the front post. Really, really threatening ball. Aliyu goes down, free kick.
He goes down heavy and he goes down hard.
Back to his feet though. The big man is okay. So Pats are going to want to try and take this as quick as they can. 7 minutes left to go in this very, very interesting first half of Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 2 football.
Who's been your standout player of the game so far for each team?
Owen Kossipa for Minchinbury Jets, despite the fact he's just got skinned a little bit there, as Mansour steps in. And I think for St. Pat's, ooh, that's a tough question. I think Solomon, actually. He's been my most impressive player. A left back and a central midfielder.
I'd have to agree with you with the Jets player, but in my opinion, I think Jay Christopher's had a great little run at the front there.
That is a totally fair shout. Just something lacking a little bit in terms of the communication with that front four. If you were not suspended right now, where would you fit into this team, by the way?
I sit as a 6, which would allow Michael Soa to push on a bit with T-Boy up top potentially, and Rafa being the box-to-box. Don't have the legs that I used to, you know.
Yeah, but the experience you gain in that time becomes invaluable if you learn how to use it, especially at the base of the midfield. Vikash Mishra knows all about that, although he didn't show all of it there.
He gets excited when he pushes up, as any right or left back does.
He said when I first met him 4 years ago that this was his retiring year.
He said that for the past 10 years.
It is still very impressive what he does. The only person who's ever been older than him in my time playing in a match of the round was a certain man who started up top by the name of Jeremy Wynn, who was teetering on 50 at the time. I can confidently say, and hoping that Jeremy Wynn doesn't mind all too much, him and I go a long time back, that I think Vikash is the more accomplished player at this age. Very, very impressive considering he is 46 years old this year. Ooh, a big coming together there where the ball had gone away. And whose ball has it been called for? St. Pat's win the free kick.
I don't agree with that call. I thought it was the other way.
Or perhaps a self-admittance will reveal all. But it's allowed St. Pat's to keep on the ball for the time being. Issa. Look at how deep this Minchinbury Jets team are sitting. You'd think it's the 90th minute and they're up 1-0 in the Champions League final.
I thought Jose Mourinho was the coach.
Well, they are coached by a couple of first and second and third generation Greeks, are the Minchinbury Jets, which is the defensive kind of football that won them Euro 2004, which we're seeing an example of right now. Sylvester Roberts comes here to Tamba Aliyu, didn't really get a lot behind it. Goal kick.
You might be too young to remember that tournament.
I was 3.
But that was an amazing performance. Tight defensive unit, scoring a goal or two, winning games. As long as you don't concede, you won't lose.
That's the style that Minchinbury Jets will at least be singing home to after this first half. They've kept it tight, rode their luck at times. The angle was right there, but the height wasn't. And now is there a chance to counter, perhaps?
It's 4-on-4.
Mabry goes wide. He was fouled in the process too. Blake Curry can beat anyone one-on-one. Oh, massive concern here for Mabry, who's gone down clutching his ankle. One of the teams had stopped playing completely, and it wasn't that of his teammates. St. Pat's almost stopped play themselves. Now, Logan Mabry has had his fair share of injury concerns. He's almost had to take a whole year off of football in the last couple of years due to a hamstring injury that eventually needed and required surgery. Hopefully, the recently turned 23-year-old is okay.
It doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. Injuries are always hard to see.
It's been a year where so many suspension injuries have happened in the PL2 that no team has really been able to consistently put together their best 11 in consecutive weeks. Logan Mabry going off will be a big loss.
He's all right. I think he's walking again.
Never fun getting kicked right on that circular round ball part of your ankle.
Jets coming together for a bit of a chat. Maybe a reshuffle just before the end of the half.
Tell you what, it wasn't a long time ago that I remember most of the St. Pat's boys in a midweek match of the round missing the game due to Barcelona coming to visit Sydney. Back when the likes of Adama Traore was still in the team.
We've got a few boys in the St. Pat's team who've got similar arms.
You do? Or as I called you on the podcast, some protein FC.
But as Adama says, I don't do weights, which I think we all know is not the truth. Oh, that was...
Chance for Jonathan Lennon, but he's got his back to goal. Can he swivel into a dangerous position? He has. Now, cross the ball across the face of goal. Really good defending by Vikash Mishra. The flag has gone up, and it will be a corner. As Minchinbury are getting closer and closer to finding their momentum back, swinging in their favour. Frustration's going for you.
He almost walked into the goals there. Great feet, though. Fantastic feet.
I feel like it's just a game of what could have been so far for St. Pat's. And imagine if they were to concede a goal here. Ball delivered in. Jamba was there, slapped it away. Tamba Aliyu should do too, he has. And now Sylvester Roberts, being closed down by Mansour, has squared it brilliantly. What a counter-attack this could be. Minchinbury will be wise to foul Soa here. In fact, it's Tamba again. Ooh, and it was the push on one of the St. Pat's boys on John Paul George that's brought about the free kick. An issue here, though, for Vikash Mishra.
I think Tamba was incorrect there to try for a foot race against the faster player.
In the process, I think Jack Mansour might have tweaked a hamstring a little bit. He's feeling the pinch. There's real concern here, it seems, for one of the ankles of Vikash Mishra.
The crowd there giving some tips to the Minchinbury Jets boys.
Mishra back to his feet.
He'll be hurting tomorrow.
Oh, certainly. It is a fantastic effort that the man who debutises as a right back week in, week out can still do it. Well, we're now into added on time. This is the kind of thing, these stoppages right now are the kind of things that take us deeper into added on time. At the end of the day, it was a free kick that brought about the dead time. So let's see what Minchinbury Jets can do with these last moments of the first half. There's some confusion here. Vikash Mishra has to actually step off the pitch before he's legally allowed to come back on. Ooh, chance to press there. Whisked away clearance. Nunez. Christopher from St. Pat's pressing.
Great
Lovely turn. Well, Blake Curry, with his throw-ins and some of his dribbling, will be able to put himself into player of the match contention, but he's given the ball away a number of times as well. Needs to be careful. The ball was won there as Minchinbury Jets clear it. Now there's another injury concern here. This time it's for John Paul George.
He's got all the other Beatles names except for Ringo. That's all he needs.
You're not lying.
You're too young to remember the Beatles, mate. But Vikash remembers them like it was yesterday.
Oh, you're good. You're going to make some fans very happy when they listen back to this. Or they're listening in live now, perhaps. And sent away. Nearly 3 minutes into added on time in this first half. A goalless first half, but certainly not a boring one. Is there a goal before the final whistle of this stanza coming now? Kosopa, that's why we've been big fans of his. Well done there by Yasu Buta. That will be the last action of a pulsating and interesting first half, where it felt like for at least 80% of it, it was all in St. Pat's favour. But as Minchinbury Jets pushed back a little bit, they had a couple of chances themselves. Does that feel like a first half where even though St. Pat's dominated for most of it, the chances missed might come back to potentially haunt them?
Score still 0-0, so it doesn't make a difference. Second half starts all over again. I believe that the battle on the closest end of the pitch between Minchinbury Jets left back and the right wing Yasu Buta has been the best battle of the game so far.
Most certainly has been. It's been enthralling to watch. It's been at times end-to-end, but mainly it has been attack versus defense. Come back in about 10 minutes or so. Keep an eye on your screen. We will mute our mics, so don't turn down your TV or your laptop or your phone, because we'll come back in and stay quiet in the meantime, though. Mark and Arsenal here on this Friday night. Historic match of the round occasion. It's 0-0 between Minchinbury and Blacktown St. Pat's. We'll see you back in about 10. Second half, not too far away from kicking off here at Blacktown Football Park on this historic occasion, this Friday night match of the round. For a bit of a surprise, we've got Oakville Flyer and captain Nathan White here to give us a bit of a chat before the second half kicks off. He, of course, got the goal that equalised the game in the match of the round last time out. Nathan, thanks for being here, and how'd you feel when you got that free kick in?
Yeah, thanks for having me up here. Yeah, it was pretty good to get the team back in the game. We were under the pump a fair bit for that, and get the equaliser was a pretty good feeling.
Come off the back of a year where obviously you might not have been involved last year, but the reserve grade grand final, and now finally coming into form, this Oakville Ravens team, we know what they're all about. You obviously led that fight back with your goal. You went on to score 2 more as a team. Some of those celebrations were amazing, weren't they? They're coming here to hang out with the crowd, and when Logan's went in to really seal it, didn't that feel good?
Yeah, it definitely is. As you'll probably see in that video, a lot of us didn't have the legs to run over and celebrate, but we got over there, and it was great to have all the Resis and 21s here to support us and be able to be a part of it.
Just waiting to see what happens between St Pat's and also the Minchinbury boys, but a passing comment quickly, what do you want to see out of this second half?
It was a bit lacklustre. There was not many goals involved, 0-0, so a couple more goals would be nice to see, but it's football, right?
It is football. I'm sure there's going to be a goal. We've never had a 0-0 draw in the 5 years that I've been doing the Match of the Round podcast. Nathan White, it's been a pleasure to have you on before this second half restarts.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for doing the podcast before and being here too. We'll welcome Arsalan Mangal back from the change room. I'm sure just having a chat to the boys to try and get them back involved.
There's no hairdryer speak there. There's no hairdryer treatment. So, like the good old Sir Alex Ferguson, the boys have done well, but if they don't convert their chances, well, guess what? It's going to stay 0 goals.
Be completely honest with us, my friend Arsalan. What was the opening line that you walked into, and what was the vibe heading out of the change room?
Look, the vibe was positive, a bit frustrated, but the opening line was, from myself, was that the issue was almost that we have too much possession. And what happens when you have too much possession is the back line gets complacent. And when they get complacent, gaps come up. And if the counter happens and you've got someone as good as Blake Curry in the front line, he can make you pay for that complacency.
He certainly can. He's just won a free kick in the opening moments of this second half as well. It'll be interesting to see how Minchinbury come firing out of the blocks as well. The Jets did have a better end to the first half, although you'd have to say that the momentum is firmly in that of St Pat's favour throughout the entire first half as a whole. Really good to have Nathan White, the Oakville regular goal scorer, onto the live stream just then. I hope you guys enjoyed that little surprise there. He was really keen to have his say. The Oakville boys out there watching now as it's a turn and strike from distance, I think by Logan Mabry. He didn't really get his foot around that properly, though. I think both teams might be looking at their subs bench at some point midway through this second half. Who's the most dangerous man off the bench for you guys usually?
I'd have to say Mahir Gonda from the 20s team. He has a wand of a right foot. He does look a bit skinny, needs to pack on the pounds, but he's still young. But once that right foot gets to work, anything can happen.
St Pat's 21s are undefeated, aren't they?
They are. They tied, I think, last night 2-2.
Good starts to the season by the young'uns from St Pat's, who, of course, wasn't too many years ago that Ethan Eichen, who's, of course, a very prominent PL1 player, was right up there, as this should be saved easily by Wasim, and it is. Ethan Eichen, a St Pat's junior, of course. Arguably one of the best products to come out of their academy in the last 15 years. One back here by the hard work of Jake Christopher. Isn't he just so involved?
Passion. Plays with passion, plays with heart.
Always heard himself here. This might be the end of Jake's night. Oh, that's so unfortunate. They're going to stop the game.
I believe they call it the commentator's curse.
Ah, poor Jake Christopher, who's being laughed at by his own sideline right now. It's a good group of mates he got there. Oh, he's twisted something really poorly there. We're just watching it on replay now. Knew straight away.
Might just be a sprain. You've got to walk it off, keep running.
Well, it looks like he is going to keep testing himself. And he took a little stumble at the end of the first half. He's taken a stumble right at the start of the second. Let's see how long this tough cookie can keep going.
I don't know about you, Mark, but I know if I've sprained my ankle, you keep running, and once you stop and you take your boots off, that's going to swell up.
So basically just keep pushing through the pain for as long as you can. That's the advice from Arsalan Mangle, who's been in the wards as a midfielder for many years as a footballer now. Logan Mabry tries to tuck it past Manuel Borges. Not the only of the Maltese contingent to play in the Blacktown Premier League across our first and second division, and women's as well. Speaking of that mixing pot of cultures, St Pat's, one of the most multicultural clubs of any division. Such a great subsection of cultures throughout their squad. Jake Christopher sends that wide. He's been smacked off the ball there. Yasu Buta. Oh, that's really good footwork. Will he beat the touchline? I think that might be, no, just a goal kick.
Those elements of Harry Maguire there for the recent Man U Europa League semi-final. Surely Jake Christopher can't keep getting battered like this 45 minutes straight.
No, but there's an injury issue concern for Owen Kossapa at left back for Minchinbury as well, but he's now worked his way back into the pitch. Stuffed out here. Big chances for St Pat's. Play it quickly. Jake Christopher, got the pass completely wrong. Did Sylvester Roberts, of all people, how on earth have they not got a shot off there? What a chance that just goes begging. And it's so very rarely that you talk about a chance going begging without the shot coming off in the first place at all. But they should have got that a whole lot better. Jamba playing with fire. My word, is he full of confidence. Jamba with the samba. You're the only one with the one-liners tonight.
You know I like the rhymes, Mark.
Turn, Michael Soa. Brilliantly done.
That was T-Boy, actually, Tamba Aliu. Now it's back to Tamba Aliu, who's thicker than a snicker.
Great touch, Yasu Buta. Thanks for the pickup, by the way. There is Mishra. Tried to dart past Owen Kossapa. Kossapa still. Slightly pulled out of the challenge was Soa, who just stood firm and locked his ankle.
Bit of pinball there, back and forth in the middle. Now we've got St Pat's putting their foot on the ball, slowing the game right back down again.
First time we've really seen any significant holding of possession by St Pat's in the opening 5 minutes of this first half. It was the story, the tale of the first half for them. Emmanuel Issa living a little dangerously and giving the ball away too. Minchinbury Jets are showing a whole lot more quality in at least their midfield and their press than they did in the opening moments of the game.
I wonder what their halftime talk was like.
I would imagine it would have been pretty loud and snappy. Probably wouldn't have been happy with that first half. A chance for them today with goal difference in their favour to go top, so they really should be motivated by that. Be coming together there. It's always in the second half where tempers flare in the Blacktown Premier League. There has never been a red card in the first half in the 5 years I've been covering match of the round games. Things always get a bit more frantic as time goes on.
This will be a dangerous free kick. Swinging in.
Jamba has to direct his defence with real authority here. There's a one-man Vikash Mishra-sized wall. Kotsiopoulos standing over it. Punched away. This keeper is very, very brave. What a great pickup he's been. From distance, never really looked like troubling Jamba. He's got some bravery, doesn't he?
He does. He's got some techers. He's got some skills. Loves taking a player on, as you saw in the first half.
He's probably been my favourite player to watch so far. With the greatest respect to this competition, he's looking to me like a PL1 keeper. He's got serious quality. That's the world's loudest air brake. This is better by Minchinbury. Oh, lovely footwork, John Lennon. And he said, imagine all the step-overs. Cleared by Borges, not too far away because Blake Curry's threatening.
Good block.
Brave defending.
Minchinbury's been piling on the pressure now. What can they do with this corner? Throw in?
Looks like a throw-in, which I think Blake Curry at this point in the game might
Might as
actually
well
prefer.
be a corner.
Good looking ball in. Nunez was there, flick towards goal, always going over. This game is soul searching for its defining moment. And while there's still well over a third of this game left to go, I'm hoping it's not one of those ones where it just keeps on like this forever, but it is looking for that one key moment. Out of defence, Issa. Quick body feint to just open up a little bit of a path to get past Anthony El-Bazi there.
Great ball.
Kosopa did well to at least slow down Buta for the time being. Now there's a chance to deliver in a ball here. And a ball of real quality and a bit of bravery with the forward could lead to something dangerous.
I believe Vikash will get on the ball. Right foot in swinger.
Lots of love from the travelling crowd up Eastern Road. Always love when a beep of appreciation is sown. Bit of fog starting to set in here, it seems, as well, atop the field. It's getting a lot colder out there. I wonder if the conditions will come into it at all. Keep those bench players nice and warm. So a ball to be delivered in by Jake Christopher. Lovely backswing on that. Cleared away only as far as Sawa, who was brave. So was Curry, though. And then Sylvester Roberts trying to penetrate the defence with the outside of his boots. And now come the Jets.
Game's opened up.
Turn the afterburners on, lads. An idea was nice by Mabry, but the execution was wrong. And once again, it's a missed opportunity. Good pressing, though, by Curry. Crowd called into action for the first time as the ball goes into the stands.
Poor final pass from Minchinbury. But that's how quickly the game can open up.
Flicked on. Well done by Sowa. He's his best mate, Tamba T-Boy Aliu. Sylvester Roberts, robbed of possession. Sowa, a two-time All-Star, was the second highest voted player of the year thanks to referees' votes. Maybe that ball is the reason why there's a flag been raised. Is it for offside? Yes. I thought that might have been for a penalty.
St. Pat's hopeful. We're hoping.
55 minutes and 55 seconds. Ticks on by. Nice triangles formed on that far side as they try and retain possession.
Nutmeg there.
By Jonathan Lennon. John Paul George, who had an injury concern as well to himself in the first half, has shaken off those concerns, it seems. Nunez fixes poker machines in his downtime, 9 to 5. Great footballer's name. Oh, lovely work. Tamba T-Boy, shirt pull, cross, big chance here! Oh, he just rushed it. Sylvester Roberts, what a miss.
Great play. Sly unlucky from Sylvester. Did you say he fixes poker machines or he repairs them?
Is there a difference? Actually, forgive me, the word is assembles them.
I don't play in a fixed game.
Well, he was trying his luck there. And he was robbed of possession. And the ball in to Sylvester Roberts was good.
He's still down?
This looks to me as if Anthony El-Bazi has unfortunately come to the end of his night. Yep, the physios are being called over. This is not a great sign.
El-Bazi's already torn his ACL once.
I'm hoping it's not as heinous and sinister as that. Looks like he's okay.
That's a long run.
It's a long run for the physio.
Who's taking his time.
Also is the coach as well. Akash Nan from Oakville here to join the watching along party. Waves to the camera and says hello. Cash, Money and locking down wingers. El-Bazi, number 88. So some subs. afoot for the St. Pat's boys, and we'll inform you of exactly who's come on in a moment. It looks like Yasu Boot has come on. Is that Skiberis that's come on? David Skiberis.
He's had more chances than the rest of the team combined so far this year.
Is that potentially a call to action for Yasu to get among the goals a bit more? He's definitely capable.
He's just come back from a thigh injury, quad injury. Funny enough, Elbazi's number is 88, and lucky 88 is actually a poker machine. Pokies machine, I should say.
You're exactly right.
Fun fact for the people playing at home.
David Skiberis is the one who comes onto the pitch into his second year at the club, formerly of Colo FC, out in an Nepean competition, which is the district where the Schwarzer boys came through. 16 goals and 3 assists last campaign.
I played with one of the Schwarzer boys.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah. The West City Crusaders. Dan, who's our keeper.
There's a throwback.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great
props to
keeper,
you.
by the way. Fantastic.
Piece of knowledge to add to the commentary list after this. So is this the end of the night and the end of the road for Anthony Elbazi? Well, he's off the pitch right now. And in the moment of talking about the Schwarzer boys, I haven't actually checked if he got subbed off. No, he's back on. So Minchinbury were temporarily down to 10 as the ball hits the Blacktown Football Park roof. We're now crossing into the last third of the match. 60 minutes has now been played. Still yet to see your boy off the bench as well, Mihir Gaundar. Also, I should say Max Dengate, whose family is part of the canteen setup at this ground, is a match of the round goal scorer himself, which funnily enough actually occurred against the Minchinbury Jets at Bert Saunders a couple of years ago.
That was the rare occasion you were in the scissor lift.
That's exactly right. Another night where I nearly got it bogged down as well. Ball delivered in. Should be cleared by Issa. Wide it goes, the first touch for David Skiberis. Another of the Maltese contingent comes onto the pitch, the right winger and the left back.
Great 1-2s there.
Better by St. Pat's. And now Skiberis has stayed on side. Featured for the first time in a match of the round in, of course, the reserve grade grand final last year. All turned by Jake Christopher. Didn't get the touch off properly though. Cleared by the Jets. Well done here by Solomon. His first real notable contribution of this second half. And now Tamba T-Boy Ali, you went for the Ronaldinho versus Chelsea-esque stab at the ball with the toe, and it didn't quite happen. Didn't get enough behind it.
Tried to score a goal on Dino there. Didn't work.
Just having a look at some of the live chats right now. Plenty of the Oakville faithful who are riding high off their win in the last match of the round, of course. Giving it large in the comments, as they always do. Ooh, a clutch at the head there. What's going on here? Play stopped. And the momentum has been killed at times by a couple of fouls in this second half, as the heat seems to really lift in intensity.
Cold night, but the game's getting hot.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the Oakville faithful might just be a bit sour about the last game against St. Pat's as well.
Ooh, big call. Very big call, because of course you guys emerged as 2-1 victors in that game. A Nathan Escalinen own goal, who's sitting down right below me right now, and a Sylvester Roberts goal was enough to put them past. Put you past, I should say. Wonder how cold our assistant referees, Mervyn Gavrilovic and Brendan O'Shea, who recently just passed his ELS test, by the way, which makes me feel incredibly old. Our assistant referees.
Makes me feel even older.
Better by Solomon there. Want to see more of him in this second half. The cash was being closed down, shrugged off those injury concerns himself. It's this point in the game where the fittest players will start to rear their heads. Lovely 1-2. Well won there by... I thought it to be Mansour. Might have in fact been Helmi. Trying too much and too quickly too. Sola now back to Tamba. Lovely turn and rip away from play, although it's been one off him. Blake Curry's just as strong too. Now he's in behind. A chance here for the Jets.
There's a back post run by Elbazi.
Really, really well covered by Emmanuel Borges. And now Minchinbury are the ones finding themselves in higher up places. Nunez is in there for the long throw. Curry about to be the one who throws it in there. Cleared away Issa. Oh, there was a nudge there. There was a slight penalty shout by one or two Jets, but not enough for it to be a real convincing one.
That throw is proving very dangerous from the sideline for Minchinbury. Free kick now from a similar area. They've had a few now, Minchinbury, from this sort of position.
Forward comes Eamon Helmy in that number 12 jersey. And cleared away. Picked up here by Wissam Samad.
Handball shouts.
Number 2 jersey. Both teams displeased with the decision, somehow. Never find a more contentious moment in football than a throw-in. Ooh, scything challenge there. That was really poor, brings about the first formal caution of the game. And probably rightly so.
Deserved yellow. Very dangerous challenge.
Look how close it is to the edge of the box too. Straight away, Bailey Coleman setting up his wall. This could be pivotal. Clock ticks past 9 o'clock p.m. on this Friday. Western United go 3-1 up over Adelaide. What a turnaround there. A reminder as well, if you haven't already, please like the stream whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. That's how we know you appreciate what you see and hear. Big, big moment, this one. It looks to me like John Lennon standing over it. Straight into the wall.
That would hurt on a cold night.
It'll sting for a while. Cleared away Issa. Well done there by Suafel Solomon.
He's had a great game so far.
He has. Sola. We'll go for the switch of play here. Asking a lot of Sylvester Roberts, but he's capable of a lot. Given away, Minchinbury win it back through Helmy. Barely said his name in the first half. Living a little dangerously, but luckily for him, Tamba Aliou was there, then given away. The midfield that might be lacking Arsalan Mangal tonight. As he's up here in the commentary box, it seems. Past the halfway line, though, is Sylvester Roberts. Play it square. There's some space here for Suafel Solomon to dance into. He sends it out wide to Sybaris, the first man to be subbed on in the game. Past Kossapa with a breeze, and now delivered low and flat into the box. Jake Christopher was there. Best move of the second half in an attacking perspective from the St. Pat's boys.
Looked like a bit of a push in the back there from Bailey Coleman.
Oh, pivotal touch by Emmanuel Issa off of Curry's pass, and then he gets past the flying winger with a nice little body feint. I think Emmanuel Issa's probably capable a bit higher up the pitch with the way he moves about the ball.
He has great footwork.
Solomon living far too dangerously there. There was a challenge in there on Michael Sowa that's brought him clutching his knee to the ground. Nope, now we'll stop play in what has been an argy-bargy stop-start second half.
few more of the bench boys warming up there.
Yep, it's happening now for St. Pat's. They are frustrated with what they're seeing, so the changes are afoot. I think it will be Jacob Torr to come on. Or perhaps it will be Jesse Fielder in the 49 jersey with those unmistakably orange boots. The 26-year-old on the cusp of nearly 15 years. This is his 14th year as a St. Patter.
I think Vikash might be feeling it a bit tonight. So Jesse might be coming on as a right-back sub.
Well, we mentioned not only the fact that it's a Friday night game, but the fact that you guys have had next to 3 weeks off now. Tough to keep your momentum. You've done impressively well against a good team.
Don't forget about fitness as well. Match fitness goes down drastically even after a week or two.
So Max Dengate will be joining the pitch as well. A match of the round goal scorer against Minchinbury Jets. Wonder if he'll do it again. Well, the ball's actually back in play, so those subs are going to have to wait. Sawa, who's got rid of those issues with his knee, it seems.
Good ball by Bailey out wide.
Emmanuel Borges. Jake Christopher. Ball into the box, cleared away by Helmy. Straight up though. Wissam claimed, and it won't be a corner. Coleman won it in the air. Blake Curry, oh, he was bashed. And in the NRL, that's 10 minutes in the bin. Although anything in the NRL these days is 10 minutes in the bin. Yeah, that's going to hurt the nearly 24-year-old. That's rough.
Contact sport.
It is.
A little bit late challenge. Ref called the foul.
Well, when you score 75 goal contributions across PL1 and 2 in your last 3 years, you make yourself a threat.
And a target.
An aerial one at that too. Sending over it, Kotsiopoulos, Wissam Samad and his centre-back partner, Helmy. Dengate is now on. As is Jesse Fielder at right back.
Looks like Tambali has come off.
That's a big change for Mario Gonzalez to make. Taking off one of his star men. And the key to the laughs on my podcast this week. Of course, not including you in that. From distance now, perhaps, didn't get anything behind it. And the touch nearly fell kindly for Minchinbury. Dengate in straight away to clear the ball. Suafel Solomon was there. Still Suafel Solomon up against the man with a number one higher than his.
They're playing with fire, Mark.
Oh, Solomon, brilliant. That's the kind of reason why he gets 3 points every single week from the referees. Oh,
once again.
Injury concern here for Anthony Elbazi.
We'll keep playing on.
I'm surprised that Minchinbury Jets have not gone to their bench yet. What on earth is keeping them from making a change? And they're asking the question now, why is no one warming up? The entire defence just looked to the bench of the Minchinbury technical area. Oh, that just hit John Paul George in the face.
This happens to the best of us. Go up for a header, get hit straight in the face. You just got to run it off, act like nothing happened.
Borges. Coleman. 19-year-old finds a 21-year-old. Issa. Brilliant.
Great touch.
Why on earth is he playing centre-back? Put him at striker. Honestly, just to swivel the hips and open up some space. He's not bad at it. Fielder was the first person in Australia to try a Coke No Sugar, he tells me. Although that tackle probably felt pretty sweet.
Claim to fame.
Claim to fame. Well, I think the match of the round is probably even more of a claim to fame.
I've got to say, although St. Pat's have the bulk of the possession, Minchinbury looks to have the more dangerous chances and more free kicks as well.
It's been a tale of two halves. It looks like no one's enjoying running right to left across the screen. That was a foul throw. Surafel, Solomon doing really well, but they're working themselves into congested corners of the pitch here. Fielder in behind.
It's his own player.
Siberus, who's now moved to the central striker position. Ball by Jake Christopher. Actually wins a free kick, though.
Lucky to win that in St. Pat's favour. Bailey Coleman coming up for the header.
Well, he would love to redeem himself, wouldn't he? This game desperately crying out for a goal. Just one, lads. Ball delivered in far too flat. Story of the night in a ball right there. John Lennon.
High foot?
Believe so. So the subs finally, Minchinbury Jets go. So off comes
Anthony
one of
Labazi.
their starting centre-backs in Wissam Samad. Andrew Nunez comes off to the right, which is where he's been all day. So John Paul George drops into centre-back, so they're really going to go for it. John Paul George in the last couple of minutes, well, I should say, in the last couple of matches, has played everywhere. Left wing, right wing, through the middle, and now into defence. I think he's now back. I think he's now out into the middle again. And Mansour puts that one out wide, as it wouldn't be a night here at Blacktown Football Park without some unregistered bikes coming up Eastern Road.
As long as they're wearing helmets. Mark.
That's exactly right.
I think Mansour's had a fantastic game so far for Jets. In the back line, he's kept St. Pat's quiet. He's kept the chances to a minimum.
Dengate, who we know primarily as a winger. Ooh, living dangerously was Mansour. Kotsiopoulos, that's poor by him. 1-2 with Jake Christopher, and Sylvester Roberts got it wrong. Nunez just about stepped in. And a chance to go forward now. The Minchinbury Jets through Anthony Houraney. So one Anthony comes off and another one comes on.
And Dengate just kicked it straight out.
Jake Christopher's really struggling. If he's struggling so much to move, why is he on the pitch? Houraney gives it away.
Mark, I'm sure you understand, even the best of players, they want to keep playing. They don't want to stop. Even while injured, they want to do their part and make a difference for the team.
Jesse Fielder, well, unorthodox touch, but it's worked out quite well, and then the pass came away, and now there's no right back for St. Pat's. Out of the defence comes Aben Helmy. Oh, lovely stuff by the centre-back. Here comes Minchinbury's own Sergio Ramos. Now, Blake Curry, lovely pass to come forward towards Logan Mabry. Cleared away, Curry was there, so was Dengate. Mabry back to defend. Anthony Houraney, momentum kind of out of the movement now as they go back behind their own halfway line.
I think you're right, Mark. I think Jake's feeling it for St. Pat's there. The hits he took early on in the second half, I think, is coming to show.
Soa, 1-2 with his midfield partner. And receives it back and sends it out wide. Siberus, I do believe that is on the far side touchline. Infield pass to find Jake Christopher. Something could be brewing here for St. Pat's. No is the answer, says Kotsiopoulos. Here is Anthony Houraney with that ponytail on display. Right past the halfway line, Kotsiopoulos directs it out wide.
Good touch from Emmanuel Borg.
Been really impressive, the left back, hasn't he? Yeah. To the bench we go again. It's all happening late on. So Jake Christopher will finally make his way off.
For Mihir Gonda.
This is the man from the 21s competition that you said was the one to watch out for. What can we expect of him?
Dangerous on free kicks. Great first touch. Tricky.
Tell you what, with that hair and that black undershirt, I'm expecting a baller. I believe I've seen him in the reserve grade grand final last year. I believe I have watched him play once. Let's see how much he's developed since then. Oh, now an injury concern for St. Pat's again. What on earth is going on?
Looks like David Sibaras.
In the 11 jersey with the concern. Probably still feeling a little bit from last night, but man, it's really starting to weigh on you, having not played in almost a month. Yeah. Right, here is Mahir Gaunda in that 12 jersey. He's right under our eyes for the last 10 minutes or so of this game. Dengate goes back to Emmanuel Issa. Oh, poor, and given away, and a chance for the Jets, but there was a handball involved, and St. Pat's have just been spared. So lucky.
The St. Pat's team must be thanking the football gods right now.
Eamon Helmy just actually signalled while I was mid-losing my mind there to the bench for a substitution. He's filling at the centre-back as well. Blake Curry didn't quite get enough on it. Nunez will see it go out. Helmy looks to the bench again in the background. Struggling. Looks to the sky as well, the number 12. This is Manny Borges. Right in front of a cloud of vape. And Nunez clears. Straight here to Coleman. Won't have an easier ball to deal with all night, although he gives it away. And a chance now for Curry. Not had his best night. He's only ever scored 3 goals in 14 match of the round games at Blacktown Football Park in his years of playing here since his youth. That goes back to his Maryland's days too, in Auburn as well. Curry, though, this time tried to make amends.
This game has really opened up now.
And I think it will for the last 10 minutes. We're going to see frantic, tacticless football almost as these two teams become desperate for a win. Minchinbury trying to find themselves on the top of the table. St. Pat trying to launch themselves into a top 4 bidding with still games in hand to catch up onto as well. Back this goes all the way to Mansour. Well, that's poor. Our throw. Minchinbury looking the more likely of the two to score here. Jamba hasn't really been called into action, but maybe he will be now. Foot race. Blake Curry was offside.
I think that's the first time the assistant referee's raised his flag all game.
Keeping the front lat moving. With the raise of the flag there. Front delt, I should say. Forgive me. Ooh, I thought the whistle had blown there, but on we go. John Paul George coming out of defence. Yeah, really fatigued involvements on the ball. You can see that everyone's just a little bit slower.
Can either team hold on to the ball for more than 3 or 4 passes?
No, we saw some really good attacking football from both teams at times in this game. And now we're starting to see what a couple of weeks off can do. Anthony Houraney, who left the ball unintentionally but is able to retain possession. This Mansour screaming like a man possessed to claim the ball, which he does, and sends it wide. Look at Sowa leading the press. Jesse Fielder, poor touch. Out it goes for a throw. Look at the space here for Evan Kotsiopoulos. Will, his brother, I should say, is the coach. Stan, his father, the reserve grade coach.
What can the final 10 minutes deliver?
Well, if you're asking for a prediction, I'm going to say it's going to stay exactly like this, just so that I get cursed, because I never predict any of these things, right? That's why I don't bet. So I'm hoping that by willing for a 0-0 that we're going to get a goal. Maybe it'll come right here. But I think it is going to come, if it's going to come for anyone, for the Minchinbury Jets. And it might fall kindly here! Where on earth is the ball? Somehow past the right-hand side upright. Curry was the one who got the pivotal touch to send it wide.
Minchinbury were very unlucky there. And St. Pat's were extremely lucky to keep that ball out of the back of their own net.
How on earth is this game not got a goal next to it? It feels unfair. This contest deserves a victor.
Another great turn by Emmanuel Issa.
Just wanted to say, well, we've still got the bulk of the people here watching along right now. This is the highest the viewership has been all day across both platforms. I'll just interrupt myself here because Anthony Houraney was searching for the bottom corner.
Fantastic save.
My word. Jamba has kept him in it with a bottom corner save, and he held on to it too. But I just want to say, well, the bulk of the people are still here. Arsenal and Mangle, it's a pleasure to watch you play football, but to have you here while you've got some time off, I know you're not enjoying as much as playing, but thank you so much for dedicating your time to livening up and colouring in the product that we bring to the people. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
My pleasure, Mark. It's been amazing. It's a great view up here, by the way. The bird's eye view. I feel like I'm playing the telly. Was it telly view?
Telly broadcast, telly view on
the
FIFA.
best view in FIFA you could play. But it is very frustrating to not be on the field, I've got to say.
To not be able to influence what's happening out there must be frustrating for those in the technical area as well. Siberus, not quicker than Kosopa.
It's frustration there. Crowd's getting worked up now.
You've got some really prominent French speakers down to our bottom left.
Wouldn't be Blacktown without some colourful language.
But just expressive people.
Football brings out passion.
Lands a curb it.
Great passing.
Lovely, intricate play. He's onside there. It's John Lennon. The flag stays down. Into the box square. Curry flicks it beyond him. Curry still cleared, Borges. Ha! What a game. Is there a winner in this one at some point? Just over 5 minutes left to go. Logan Mabry preferred as the winger. What a sliding challenge by Mahir Gounder off the bench into the action and cleared away Borges, who is making his second major contribution of this play. And now comes some pats, and away goes Kosopa. What a game of two halves this has been, and a free kick called.
Very frustrating to watch. Losing the ball a little too easy, St. Pat's is.
You're looking very fatigued. Arsenal looking very fatigued. Anyone tuning in to watch or listen to you here tonight you want to say hi to quickly?
Oh, I think my brother, Surab.
Hello,
Mangle.
Surab.
Yeah,
Miss
in the
you
final.
among the streams. Kotsiopoulos, deep to the back stick.
And my wife as well may be watching to make sure that I'm here. As any good wife would. No one ever says happy husband, happy life, you know? As any married listener would agree.
You're going to be in trouble. Right, the last period, window, whatever you'd like to call it, for subs to be made has just occurred.
It's Jimmy Mifsud, who has the engine of a marathon runner, as I mentioned earlier.
Well, in the last couple of minutes, he's going to be tasked with, I'm sure, sprinting to put any pressure he can on this tiring Minchinbury defence.
I think the building might be falling apart.
Hopefully everyone's okay next door. Another of the Maltese contingent to join the pitch. We are everywhere. Harini, who had that chance that was saved by Emmanuel Jamba, wins another free kick, given away by Michael Soa. Really frustrated as the two-time All-Star and last year's runner-up player of the year.
I think whoever can keep a cool head here can make a big difference in the final 3 minutes of normal time.
Delivered in, a little bit shy of a direct-headed opportunity at goal. Mahir Gounder, counter could be on here. Play it quickly, St. Pat's. Great turn. Siberus, now all of his runners are offside. Now he's forced to play it. What a ball. Is he on? No. Sylvester Roberts sends it over the fence nearly. Gets a yellow card for his efforts, and the chance goes begging for the 27-year-old.
I just mentioned the frustration issue.
Some lovely interactions happening between some of the PL2 boys in our live chats across this game. Keep it going, boys, because you keep the algorithm nice and hot. Just be respectful of each other, of course.
It's always easier to make comments while watching and not playing.
That's why I do this job. You wouldn't see me out there. Chance, big chance. Got that ball angle wrong, Sylvester Roberts. It's just a game where the quality has not been there in the final third. Now a St. Platts player goes down. Is he just exasperated
What a
or
touch.
injured? Oh, Curry to win the game! Oh, what a moment! Oh, Blake Curry is the man of the moment! Wins the match of the round from seemingly nothing! The star player, with all the pedigree from POL down to 2, has just made his mark when Minchinbury needed it most. And they might have just sent themselves right up the top.
It was a great back heel touch to Blake Curry there.
Is an absolutely sensational goal. And to the dismay of all those wearing blue with tinges of white and yellow who have come out here on a Friday night, and of course the Thursday night matches as well, to support these St. Pat's boys, what a way for maybe this first grade game to slip out of their reach with a player down in the process as well. Are you okay?
It hurts. Hurts my soul. The boys tried. Look, there's still. I think there's a few minutes of extra time that needs to be added, injury time, because there was a lot of stoppage.
Well, the controversy will be talked about beyond the full-time whistle. I have absolutely no doubts about that. A player down. Now, to be fair, not clutching his head, so he do not have to stop play. But the hole that was left in midfield was felt. And the game was won by Blake Curry, who shifts away his hoodoo on this ground to pick up his second ever match of the round goal in at least the first grade space. And his third overall if you include the reserve grade grand final he featured for Prospect 2 clubs ago. What a game. Still down right now. Look back at the goal. That was absolute genius by John Lennon, but he should not have been allowed that space.
The back heel flick.
That is sensational work.
And Emmanuel Jamba couldn't save him this time.
Well, there are bordering on 150 people watching across both platforms right now. That is more than you'll find in a lot of professionalised sports out there. There is real concern. I'm not even entirely sure what happened to Michael Sowa, but the concern is real. And St. Pat's are going to have all this time to feel dejected. We are 2 minutes beyond the 90, by the way. And I wonder if this game will just get called. I don't think it should be.
I feel as if it's the St. Pat's curse. The last minute conceding of a goal after dominating majority of a game.
Well, Sowa is back to his feet, hobbling off right now, and receives a round of applause by all of those in the opposite colours to which he's wearing. Might this just launch? Might this just launch Minchinbury Jets into a spot that they could hold on to for the rest of the season? Up next for them will be Oakville. That's a huge game. St. Pat's go to Park Lee next.
believe St. Pat's have 3 games in 7 days next week.
That's rough. Well, Logan Mabry comes off. A 6th window now of stoppages being used for the Minchinbury boys. Michael Asabre comes on for a match of the round stint. His job is to work his butt off and keep this lead intact. Now, we've been delayed for a little while. The question becomes now to Kiana Woods, the referee out in the centre, how much time are you going to give St. Pat's to get back into this? But with moments like that on the ball, moments of fatigue, must be frustrating to watch. Minchinbury will eat the time away.
As would any team.
A chance again for St. Pat's. Oh, Roberts left it. A shonky clearance comes here straight to Borge. Hit it, son. Why not? Opted against the advice. Rightly so. Dengate. Ball in behind. Ooh, it was just about cleared there by Eamon Helmy. He's had a really solid game. Minchinbury. Jets hunting down what would be this season their first clean sheet. What a team to do it against. Although there looks like there might be a slight teething problem up top. Only 1 goal scorer so far from 4 games. Only 3 goals scored in 4 games for St. Pat's. And now there are numbers pushed too far forward in blue. Oh! Massive coming together there. Curry still has the ball. Blake Curry to seal the victory! Oh, sensational by Curry! He is single-handedly in the space of 5 minutes taking this game away from the opposition St. Pat's. And fired them right into a tile race. There was a huge coming together there where the right back stepped out of position to lay one on the provider. But in the space that was left behind, Curry came to life. 2-0, game, set and match. Curry, the decisive one. Call him Golden State. He is the golden boy. Minchinbury are just a couple of goals away from going to the top on goal difference. Right now they sit second. What a spot to be in. Here they come again. It's John Lennon who's been also involved. And he gets shouldered again for his efforts. Yellow card.
That's a red card.
Second yellow card for Coleman. The game provides exactly what we could have anticipated considering all that's gone on in PL2 games prior to this. St. Pat's have lost their heads.
And
Coleman goes off.
They've lost their heads and they've lost the game.
Coleman, who had a chance to put St. Pat's in front in the first 20 minutes of the game. The 21-year-old has a lot to learn after tonight. And I'm sure he'll have the support of some senior figures around him to do it. But he's absolutely lost his head in the space of 5 minutes. Got himself a first and second yellow card and got himself sent off. And there's another suspension to add to your list. I think at this point now, with about 15 different players who have gone down separately to injury and with the game and result decided, just call the game. We are 7 minutes past the 90. It was nonsensical too because Blake Curry, who scored the 2 goals to win this game, actually went over to check on the injured St. Pat's player. Jonathan Lennon, who was then barged by Bailey Coleman, cynically was the only player within a quarter mile, it seemed, of the goal mouth. And Coleman just stepped in and decided to lay one on him. It was completely unnecessary. And now this game, unfortunately, has a red brandish on it. Okay, so fill us in. What's the advice going to be in the change rooms, if any, tonight?
I think the conversation will be kept to a minimum. It'll be very quiet. I think there needs to be some self-reflection from the boys. Football is not just a physical game, it's a mental game. And I think we've lost that mental battle in the last 10 minutes there.
Thank you for your honesty. Arslan Mangle, of course, one of the midfield dynamites from this St. Pat's team, missing tonight. With a goal difference now of +2 thanks to a Curry double.
I think that Blake Curry goal and Michael Sowell going down was the start of the end for the team collapsing internally.
Who is down right now? And what is the concern? It's a long, long way away from us. This game is now bordering on 10 minutes past the 90, which means that if it hasn't been called now, we're still going to play on, by the way. I wonder for how long. It's not just... The concern is that the player was actually lying on the ground. So we will now do our due diligence. My word, it's late on a Friday. Please forgive me.
Say that 5 times. Really
I can't.
fast.
I can barely say it once. Okay.
There we go.
And rightly so, the game on the cusp of 10 minutes past the 90 is brought to an end. The result was assured from a couple of minutes ago, though. A few things to be said. First and foremost, while we have the bulk of our viewers here, again, our best wishes from the half of the BDSFA goes to the family of Suhail Koya, who, in these coming days, grieving the loss of his mother. The BDSFA wishes our best to that family, and I hope that in the views that you got on here tonight, you felt some solace from that. You have our full support should you ask upon it. A look at the game, though. A first half dominated by St. Pat's, a second half dominated and then won by Minchinbury. I asked you on the cusp of half-time, would those chances come to haunt your team? And they have.
They indeed have, Mark. I believe this just goes to show that football is not as easy as just keeping possession. You have to do something with that possession. You have to make a difference in the final third, and you have to take your chances. I think St. Pat's showed some of their inexperience, some of the young boys. I think some of the boys that came on were a bit fatigued, particularly from last night, but that's not an excuse. Football is football. Mincho also played last night, so, great game to them. Good finish. Both great finishes from Blake Curry.
Football can be very cruel as well. There are some serious injury concerns to a number of players tonight. I think of Jake Christopher, who came off. I think of, as well, El Bazzi in the 88 jersey from Minchinbury, who had to come off as well. Our best wishes go to those boys who have backed up, a lot of them working on their feet 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Hopefully those guys are okay, but a really physical contest it turned into. Geez, you've got some suspensions coming up for your trip away to Parkley. That's a tough game up next.
It's been another match filled with drama, passion, and a few questionable tackles.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. But that's one of the beauties of the PL2, is that it can throw up things when you least expect it. It's the competition compared to the PL1 and 2 that I think definitely has over the First Division is the late drama that we get in these games. Absolutely all over the First Division, because I think those teams might be a little bit better out at closing out a game. The amounts of late action drama we get in the Second Division is absolutely beautiful. Again, thanks to our major sponsors, Laing Simmons Blacktown. But again, as we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Arslan, thank you so much for your contributions here tonight, coming away from your family and the boys to be part of this. I hope you enjoyed the experience. I hope we get to do it again. And I think the viewers have been a big fan of yours.
Much appreciated, Mark. It's been a fantastic view and a fantastic night.
Blake Curry's 2 goals separates the two teams as Minchinbury jump up to second and could be first on goal difference. It's not to be, though, but I'm sure they'll be keen to do it against Oakville up next. What a season it's panning out to be. Who's getting promoted? I don't know. Who might win the grand final? I don't know. Who will finish in the top 4? Could tell you even less, with even less assurance. My name's Mark DePauli. You already know Arslan Mangle. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and weekend. Good night.